He sat down. I clicked away too quickly to give him the gratuitous chair shot. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, as Bruce was saying just before we started, wherever you are in the world. Shot, Dan. God, he's lost the ability to speak. Who else is here? Max here.
It's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I noticed how ragged I'm like, I've had a day. Oh, I tell you, I've had a day. Let me know. Just COVID stuff sounds like me, doesn't it? But where should we start? I think we'll start with Bruce. Amazon, no, they're the best thing ever. Come on, I can't wait. I'm going to get my deliveries very soon.
Yeah, within the next year, I hear, for the last 5 years. Yeah, apparently. Yeah, but isn't it great? The whole the myth, the sort of charade that has been consumer drone deliveries is starting to unravel, and it's starting in the UK because Amazon has basically been found to be full of hype and misinformation. And I think we've all said that for many years, that drone delivery is not going to be a thing. But I've just done a video analyzing this. And what it is Amazon have been very, very clever. They're a marketing company, right? Their job is to market products. So they figured, let's invest a few $1 million in drone delivery technology, and we'll be in the headlines for years. And it's worked. They've been number one right up there. Yeah, drone delivery, Amazon. And it's worked and worked. And of course, all the politicians who collectively are dumber than a sack of rocks have fallen for this stuff. And the regulators have come along and said, oh, we need to clear the airspace for Amazon because, well, Amazon. And so the hobby's been impacted, and regulations have been massively overstated and overreached, all because Amazon decided to spin a line to politicians and bureaucrats and regulators, and they, like idiots, believed it. It's the biggest con job on the face of the planet, and everyone fell for it except those who know anything, because the politicians and the regulators didn't even look far enough to say, well, is this actually even economically viable? Oh my God, it's not. You can't run a service if the wind's too strong or the rain's too heavy, you can't use it. And as we know, climate change, we're getting more and more extreme weather events. Commercial or consumer drone delivery becomes less and less practical as the weather gets worse. It's just, I can't believe so many people got duped by this.
I have to say, Bruce, you're absolutely wrong, because they are using drone deliveries, because I ordered something from Amazon Germany yesterday, and I got it today in my house. How could it be more efficient than if it was not delivered by drone? I could see the drone was changing batteries. He went to cold, and then he went somewhere in France. So he must be changing batteries. Come on.
What they're going to start doing is posting you out a battery. Right. So when the drone comes, the man will turn up with the battery that you need to install in the drone when the drone delivers your parcel. And then the man will come back later to pick up the battery to take it away. So that's how drone delivery is going to work.
And by the way, the drone was so smart that he carried a uniformed guy, very short, about 160 high. And the guy just came up and rang my doorbell. Come on. What's thing better than this, Bruce?
I think what they suddenly realised is, especially the past month in the UK, we have had some of the worst weather going for a summer. It's been absolutely rubbish, and they've gone, we can't fly like 180 days of the year. We're just going to have to can this. It's too much money. It's waste of time.
It's what you guys call English weather, right?
Yes. No, the jet stream. Well, to be honest, Louis, the jet stream's in the wrong place. It's actually south of us at the minute, and if it's south of south of England, the jet stream means that basically the whole of England gets Scottish weather. We get all the crap weather, and the jet stream has to come back north. Until it goes back north to the top half of England, we're just not going to get good.
But you guys are assuming that Amazon were going to deliver in the first place. They were never going to do drone deliveries. It was a marketing exercise. It was just to be in the headlines. It was a very clever way to keep Amazon front and forward in everybody's minds. It was just the marketing department dreamt this up, and everybody else fell for it. And speaking of bad weather, why are you all rugged up, Ian? I thought it was summer in Wales.
Yeah, I don't really know why I'm wearing this. It is a little bit cold.
It's fashion. Bruce's fashion. It's fashion.
It is a little bit chilly. Mark will probably attest to that. The temp has dropped a little bit.
The UK weather is shocking. It's July, now August, but in July I was up at 5 a.m. Normally it's warm, and we went flying in Burberry and doing some buildings and stuff. And I didn't pack a jumper. I didn't pack a fleece. I had nothing, just a t-shirt on. Biggest mistake of the year.
It's your own fault, isn't it? You know, you've got to pack. This isn't a what to wear channel, by the way. We're not going to branch into clothing, but you've got to be sensible about these things when you're going out in the world. Goodness me.
You would think so in the summer in the UK. You know, I would have thought it'd be like 15, 16 degrees in the morning, more like 10.
The weather's been pretty weird here as well. In fact, we have some blossom happening and various plants happening. So spring has sprung. I don't know about around your side, Bruce. Is it right?
Yeah, we've had the warmest July I think on record, and it's like it's been. Well, you look at the video I posted yesterday at the airfield at midwinter, and we're all walking around t-shirts and hot. It's great.
Yeah. But go on, mate.
I was just going to go back to the Amazon stuff though. I also think that they've sucked up all the IP they can. They've got all the paintings in.
They have done that. Yeah,
they've sucked all that in, along with the free advertising. That like Bruce says, it's great because they went into drone delivery. It kept them in the news headlines for past 5-6 years. It's all free advertising. They've not paid for any of that, and they've sucked up all the patents they can, all the IP they can get, and gone. We're just gonna thanks. Well, and they've completely screwed over airspace now in the UK, as Bruce says. We're going to get used space.
I was at Farnborough when the woman did the presentation. It was either 2012 or 2014, and I was stood next to the man from the Civil Aviation Authority, and we were both muttering and humming and hawing, and then I called her a liar at the end of the thing, which didn't go well in that sort of a presentation. But remember that graphic that they had I can't even remember what it did now, but they launched the graphic that sunk us. Really, it was their graphic that sunk Model Aviation and normal flyers, and got a load of other people thinking, "Oh, that's a good idea. We'll have some of that airspace." They have completely rolled us over. They got rid of the flight test engineers 2 years ago. I think that that story was a malicious story. Or not malicious. I think it was rabble roused by another delivery drone competitor, not one that is currently successful in the field, but would like to be. I really think that's where that story.
The Korean one, the Duzan?
No, not them. I'm not going to name names, but not them. No.
So the original. A drone delivery company is it Ireland? They've been testing in a village.
Oh, Mana, yes, Mana.
Yeah, and they've expanded that service now. So they've expanded it a little bit. It was a month ago. You probably talked about it. I wasn't here because I was busy in Birmingham trying not to get mugged and beaten up. But so it was a so they've expanded that, but I don't see it for big towns, big cities. It doesn't make sense. It is more point to point than anything else for drone delivery. That's where it'll go to.
And the worst thing of all is that now we have these politicians, regulators with egg all over their face. They're not going to back down and say, "Oh, we were actually wrong." They're going to say, "Oh, no. Amazon may be retrenching, but other companies will be filling the void." And this will, because we don't want to be seen to be wrong. It won't be until we have a change of power, political parties, when the new party can come in and go, "Oh, they were just a bunch of idiots. They sucked us. We're going to change it. We'll sort it out." So it's going to be 5, 6, 7, 8 years before we see any correction to the whole regulatory environment. It's just a mess.
You just don't have the joy of living inside a group of countries that has a bureaucratic pyramid that stays in Brussels. Those guys will get all the stupid legislation that you can even think, not in your wildest dreams you can come up, and they'll put it in effect, and then the poor guys that went away will, this is so nice, and they'll do an inverted Brexit with legislation, and then as you are part of the Commonwealth, you'll get it too. Don't worry.
There's no doubt that, look, I think we all knew, or in my mind, I knew it was over for Amazon when they stopped using old Clarkson for the Christmas adverts. There was Christmas drone adverts for 3 Christmases, I think, and then they stopped. Oh, that'll be that then. What was the longest flight they did? 750 meters, something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah. So the hilarious thing was when they first announced it as well. So they found their test site. And they went, drone delivery. And it was a local farmer.
I Because I knew where it was. It was fibbing. Liar.
Yeah,
Say liar. I was so angry.
It was literally like 500, 750 meters, whatever it was. It was literally within visual line of sight, all the flight, all the way across. But they did start, so I did know someone that was part of the Amazon flight crews. And what they had started doing, I think 2 years ago, maybe a little bit more, they were doing drone delivery testing, but it was to Amazon staff who allowed it to go on at their houses, and they'll rock up and try and deliver to that house and see what sort of things they had to do commercially.
Well, that was their biggest problem, though, wasn't it? It was always about dropping something into your garden. I mean, that was insanity from the beginning. I still reckon
trees,
the number. Yeah, it was just
washing lines. You know, the pet dog, the pond. All these things in back gardens that are there to stop you. Sheds. Uneven gardens. It's amazing. You know, I live at a terraced house. I couldn't imagine a 2 meter drone or a 1 meter drone.
Come on, Mark. Let's look at on the other side. We are just saying what we know that will make it not work properly. How can we sort that out? What should we do? So we'll have our smart cars that are shared and can go and pick up the package, because we are always thinking on flying drones, but it can be a combination of both ways.
It will. It'll be I think drone point to point. So drone will take something from the warehouse to a delivery Amazon locker area, maybe. You know, where you've got like 100 lockers, and you can take the drone can land. It's got the space, put it in, and then you can travel to that locker and then get the item. Or it'd be like the Milton Keynes Starship system, where they'll have their point to point, and then they'll put it in a ground rover, and off the ground rover will go and deliver it to your house.
Why a ground rover? Why not bypass the robot? Because they're doing them. We just get some from Hyundai, or is it Samsung, those Boston Dynamics?
Yeah.
You'll get one of those pots or whatever.
The dot.
Deliver to your door. Come on. It can even knock at your door to open it.
I just remembered back in 2016. Do you remember? They announced they were going to use QR codes, and I'd already done that from my shed. And you know what? That's still down there, and I haven't had a delivery. I'm not going to get one from Amazon now, and I still haven't had a delivery from Wing. That's outrageous. But that was back in 2016. Yeah, when he announced that. Yeah, they didn't have smart ideas.
And you guys are also forgetting. You guys know we are all forgetting that. Now they can have the opportunity of having Mr. Bezos up in the sky and seeing if the drone deliveries are being made correctly. So, come on, the boss is overlooking everything.
Yes.
Well, the good news is that, you know, we want to be told the sky's going to be dark and drones flying everywhere. And now we can say, well, actually, there's going to be a few thousand less in the sky now.
Oh God, a few thousand less promises. Oh God, the hell is full of promises.
Oh,
there we are. The Curry House in Glasgow, another quality indoor.
Look at that advanced technology.
Yeah. I expect they spent years developing that, don't you?
How did they get all the certifications and the permissions to do this? I wonder.
They did a lot. There was quite a few of these in the UK, and there's loads, and they never did. They got told off.
This is a new one. Oh no, 16th of March. Got fairly new.
Come on!
Wow.
16th of March.
Yeah, but look! It's achieved the Bezos effect, hasn't it? It's in the newspaper.
Exactly.
We're talking about it right now. So
that's all they had to do.
And
doesn't matter at all.
Read how fast it can go.
Guys, look at something. It's in Scotland, where the bad weather is, so it is perfectly viable.
Mind you, the police wouldn't be a problem because they couldn't recognize a drone if they tripped over one.
No, maybe that's what it was. Not actually a planet or whatever. No,
it was a curry.
No. Should we change? So should we change and stop using drones and start calling them UFOs?
No, because if you know it's a drone, it's not a UFO.
Oh, there you go.
No. We don't know. We don't know what kind of drone is, so it must be a UFO.
Must be a UFO. Yes, I hear what you're saying. Yes, it is a UFO if you don't know what it is. Yes, if you don't know for certain.
Well, if there's no photograph, you can't prove it. To me, it's a UFO you saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've come to the opinion that it's now put up or shut up. Show me the photo. Show me the video, because it's quite clear from Airprox Reality Check and others that what they are seeing and what they think they are seeing are two completely different things. So it's now a case of show me that footage or UFO.
I wouldn't bet on that, given the experience that we have from this guy here. He can do anything on After Effects.
Oh, anything badly, yeah.
Well, there was the one where that drone hit the plane wing, and that was fake, and it's quite clear that you could see that was fake. But I'm still very much, if a drone have flown over a plane's wing or on landing or takeoff, it wouldn't just be the pilot. How many people are looking out the window and taking photos and video? Why is that video not a YouTube hit somewhere?
No one.
Well, that last one in Scotland.
Everybody is on Instagram and Facebook posting. I'm taking off. Look at the people at the plane. Oh, so funny. Come on.
Yes, but surely they're Instagramming out the window as well.
Nah.
Louis seems to know a lot about this Instagram thing. Does you see the power when he was saying that's him? Like this, he's well practiced. But did you see they saw another jetpack? LAX saw another jetpack, and I'm thinking, hang on a minute, they've got these record temperatures over there, and there's all this thermal activity, and I've seen so many cardboard boxes and big plastic bags up. But the pilot, it was a drone, it was a jetpack, because jetpacks are popular around LAX at the moment. It wasn't just an unidentified piece of stuff floating in the sky, and we know how strong thermal activity can lift almost anything off the ground.
Okay.
Well, that last one in Scotland this week was 10 miles away from the airport. So the aircraft would have been at 5,000 or 6,000 feet, and it was to the north of Glasgow Airport. So that's where the high ground goes up to 4,406 feet, just a little bit further to the north. So I would suspect that it would have been at least a couple of thousand feet, the terrain there. So the minimum there would have been, I should look on the chart. Should have looked on the chart. Thinking ahead, the minimum altitude. I am going to look in the chart. It was probably 4,000 feet. So yeah, I mean, just all nonsense, isn't it? But then the police drove out. You see, the police went out to look.
What? You see, the police driving out in Scotland to look for a drone. I mean, for anyone that doesn't know Scotland, hills, valleys, roads to nowhere. You've got no chance in hell of finding the drone pilot if there was one, which there wasn't, because it's just ridiculous.
No way at all.
If I was a copper, I'd be going, well, I'm enjoying the drive and the countryside view.
Is that Jupiter? Oh,
yeah, madness.
No, it's the sun.
Madness.
But here in New Zealand, there was a story this week, because we're told don't fly over built-up areas, don't fly around people. So someone's obviously gone out and flown their drone in the countryside, and there was a big news story: suspicious drone activities. Could be people casing places. So you can't do it anywhere because Karen will be there.
It's I mean, I've been flying in the middle of Birmingham, right in the centre of Birmingham, for the past month or something. And to be honest, most people do not give a rat's about a drone. Most people don't care. There's the odd person that's going, what are you doing? And once you explain what you're doing, they go, that's actually pretty cool. But there's very few people that will kick off. There's only the odd one, and they seem to believe that they're important and you're going to stalk them for some reason. I mean, I was in Scotland.
It's usually the ugly ones, eh?
Well, I had a great one. I was actually in Scotland 3 weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, and I was in the lovely area of Scotland. I wasn't that far north, but Is it? Is
So
this
that-
where?
3941. It was out here somewhere. So that block there is 4,100, 3,900, 2,000 in there. So
Is-
2,000 in there.
Is that where
So-
Sky Sports Delivery do their thing, isn't it? To the Isle of Mull in that neck of the woods. Was it them?
No, they're up here. They're up here.
Oh, is
they're,
it slightly-
they're up here. Yeah, they're up here.
Oh,
They're
slightly
up
farther north.
Oh.
Sorry.
And then the other one that's currently setting up is over here. But yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's out there, and no way is the answer.
No chance.
No way. Now,
No.
so we'll put that to bed. Amazon, bye. So long. Thanks for all the fish. Thanks for ruining everyone's day.
Thanks for all the
Thank you.
fish.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Don't want to say I told you so, but me and the man from the CAA said, told you so. Bye. He knows he is. And if you're watching,
What's that from CAA? I wonder.
oh no, it's a while ago now. I'm not
Oh.
going to name names.
No,
but
yeah.
yeah, he knows who he is. He was tutting with me. We were tutting along in unison. And everyone else was, fawning all over these Amazon people. And we were like, what? What are you saying? But anyway, that was another thing. Now, Ian has won friends and influenced people again this week. What have you done this time, Ian?
How to burn bridges and then bomb them again, and then
5G
new
bridges
contact.
in Wales,
Am
isn't
I,
it?
am I safe being next to Ian if he's burning bridges and
Yeah,
destroying?
that's why you're there. Hang on.
Oh,
Stop over here. There we are.
I
Get
think
out
I
of the way.
dropped the nuke this week, but yeah, it's been an interesting week to say the least. Somehow I've ended up in this weird position of being a couple of companies' real pain in the ass, and I don't quite know how that ended up happening. But after the last time we managed to get a fix on the firmware, it's Bruce's fault. He's rubbing off on me. A lot of people were sort of coming to me saying, look, is there anything we can do? Is there anything on these issues and stuff? So what I decided was I was going to go for one last hurrah, in the sense of I was going to just put out a list of unfixed issues and just say, here they are. This is what the community would like fixed. And I had been canvassing people in the background, people who've been using it in very different ways to I use it as well, to make sure we covered all bases, and we still missed some stuff then. But whilst that had happened, they then dropped this new firmware literally the day before I was going to go live with that. And that new firmware was to support a new air unit. Now, the assumption the community had, and I call this assumption, really, it's evidence based on companies' own marketing. When you write words like going to work within future encrypted air unit and messages that they've been sending people saying we're going to do this, I went out and just said, look, what is a bit, pardon my French, shit, is that they're not making any real fixes to the system. Okay, we've had them over a barrel on 1 or 2. Yet when it comes to blocking out competition, they can spin a hardware refresh and a firmware update in short order. And the video and sort of the message. So what I did is I made the video. I also put a sort of a statement out on it on Facebook, RC groups, and DJI forum, and just said, look, this is my thoughts. I'm not being nasty. This is what I think. And all hell broke loose, frankly, is the term to use. And
Really?
it sort of caused them a bit of a headache, because a lot of people took it and just went, right, we're going to email them every day. And have you seen this? And, to give you an idea, the post on RC Groups had 17,000 views in 24 hours, which is fairly high numbers for a blog post on RC Groups these days, especially. The video crept up pretty quick. So they've come back, and I had a statement from DJI on Wednesday. And get the timeline. I put the video up Tuesday. I had a statement from DJI Wednesday, which was rather interesting, because the statement was pretty much saying, we've read reports online of misleading comments that we're going to be locking it down, and we're not. And I put that one up on my blog and RC Groups. And I did ask the question genuinely back to DJI was, hold on a minute, are you saying I was being misleading in what I've written? Because when they say misleading reports or misleading things, it makes it sound like, well, what you're saying, I'm saying is wrong. And the off the record response I got was, no, not you. What you've said is how you've seen it. And that was like, okay, I'm not going to say who they're referring to, but it wasn't me. And then obviously the other side of the argument came and contacted me as well. And there were a lot of messages back and forth. And they put a statement out on Thursday saying that they will no longer be pursuing the encryption route. Now, there's a bit of a two-sided edge sword for me on this. This was never about stopping the encryption. I frankly didn't care about the encryption. It wasn't ideal, and I know Bruce won't necessarily agree with this because Bruce will argue it should always be open anyway. I didn't really care about the encryption. What my argument was, they're quick to do it, yet they won't do anything else, if you get my meaning. The encryption was, if there's a new ear unit that only works with certain cameras, it's not great for user experience. But let's be realistic. How many DJI remotes don't work with previous models? How many other things don't work? So I'm not against them protecting their business. You know, they were going to try and block out Runcam. That's the basics here, was to stop that camera working. So they've said they're no longer going to do it. And that was sort of a side effect. They have announced that they're going to work on canvas mode, which I'd put in there. And I've actually spoke to them about in the background. And some stuff like that. And I'm hoping they take on the other stuff as well. It's a bit weird because the message got slightly lost. It all got lost in this encryption thing, was really, it was about, we want this system to be developed. You know, in some ways, if they just didn't do anything, is better than blocking competition and not fixing the bugs, if you get my meaning. At least if they did nothing, they're doing nothing consistently. The argument was, you're doing something which suits you, but you're not helping the community. So, look, we got a result. It was a very, very interesting week. That's all I will say. It went a sort of way that I wasn't quite expecting, in the sense of how quickly it blew up. And it did blow up very, very quickly. The guys who reached out to me at DJI were, as always, absolutely fantastic. Not a single comment, no issues. They literally just said, yeah, we see what you're saying. That's it. And here's our response.
And then we got a response to John's question there, boys, if you know anything.
Hold out. There's probably a firmware update coming for it in the next 5 days. I can't say I've seen it, but I have.
So that's another known problem then. Gosh,
yeah.
Strikes me to have a video about that.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I can't keep doing this. The goal of the channel was not to become, this is everything that's wrong with this system. But
you should play to your strengths. Play to your strengths.
That'll be blatantly that would be blatantly copying Bruce there, wouldn't it? That's the trouble with that going down that road.
Someone made a very genuine comment on my channel, which I took a little bit to heart this week, which was, where did it all go wrong? And he said, if you look back at your last 10 videos, they've all been very negative against DJI. And my response to him was, you know what? You are right. However, it's all been negative because there's nothing good to say right now. And that is the truth of the matter. We've had no new product. We've had... Okay, I was quite negative.
God. Come on, Ian. They have lots of fear, uncertainty, and that on the plans. Look at their patents or for the drone in the box. You'll get a nice little automated box to get your DJI FPV. So why are you complaining? Is that the famous firmware update that you're getting? You have a DJI.
No, the firmware hopefully does fix it. You know, so look, I'm pleased we've got a result. I'm pleased I was able to play a small part in helping, hopefully, to have canvas mode come in, because I will say a bit more about this when we can in the future. But there's some let's just say Louis will know a person who's involved. I managed to put some people together to talk about it, but there is a point now where you have to go, I've got to let them get on with it. You know, at the end of the day, it's a catch-22. You just become a channel where you're constantly slagging off companies. And that's what I can't end up as.
Yeah, and affiliate links are worthless on negative videos.
No, I don't really do reviews, and I don't. there's a point of, yes, I've been one of the only people screaming about this, and yes, we've got a result. But look, there's a point where they literally will just ignore me as well. What you have to remember with any company is there's a point where they will go, this guy is a lunatic, just ignore it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I got
but
an
we-
email
we-
from DJI requesting some tips on ignoring Ian. So I've
Yeah,
passed on
so
my
we,
knowledge.
we reached this point a long time ago. It didn't take 7 or 8 videos to do that.
So, Ian, when are you going to review your internet service provider? Because you keep breaking up.
Yes, yeah. They've got to be done as well. So no, look, we got a result. There's another result. It's not quite the result I wanted. I will be honest. It was not for me about stopping the encryption. I felt very little about that. I would rather they have come back and said, actually, we take on board all your stuff about these bugs. We're going to work on them, but the encryption's happening because we need to protect our business. I could have happily accepted that. What we've got is we're dumping the encryption and we're going to look at this, but we haven't got a commitment for the system moving forward, if you know what I mean. I don't know what your thoughts are, Bruce. You know, you're on my side of the desk as well, in the sense of, you know, you do this YouTube thing. You know, I know you've upset enough people over the years.
Oh, no, that's not true. No, it can't be right. Surely not.
No.
I think maybe Cadix got a bit frightened by the comparisons to FreeSky and what it's done to FreeSky's business when they decided to spend more time and effort restricting competition than actually addressing the issues with their products.
And yeah, I don't think they're very happy with me at all, but that is what it is.
But Ian's not happy till they're not happy.
Let's just say I won't be on any Christmas card lists this year from any of those two companies.
Yeah.
So we can expect you get a piece of gold, right?
Right, gold's worth money now, Louis.
Your FPV.
Yeah, Cole's first footing and all that. And this is good
Well,
parties.
yeah, we did something. We got a result. So, but I have openly said it is my intention now to try and keep my head out of, even if it's short of it going on fire. I'm not really going to be the person screaming it from the rooftops for a bit, because I just don't need another week like last week, because it was 2 days of major messages back and forth, constant talking to people, and it's just it takes up a huge amount of your time. If they want to pay me to do it, I'm more than happy to. If they want, if they you know what they need, these companies, they need a bloody consultant. So this crap, and you don't have idiots like me pulling stunts like this, and that's what they need. They need to start communicating with the community, and then when they did that, this would never have happened if both companies had.
Come on. That word is so vague a word. What is the community? Come on, what's in common of those guys, of the people that use the DJI FPV, short of giving money to
Danger Hedgehogs?
Look, okay, so if we talk about what is communicating, well, on the flip side of this, and I've openly said this, Fat Shark seem to be in the other way right now. They're putting out blog posts every month telling you what they're doing. So you know what's going on. They are actively
putting blog posts saying what you want to hear. But
then they're delivering it in firmware. They've just done 3 updates where they have taken feedback and provided features based on that feedback. Now, I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying everyone's getting everything they want. But right now, they're at least canvassing and listening. And look, can there be more done? Yes, absolutely. But when manufacturers go completely silent and you have a large community that is invested for the long term, and this is the thing, and I think they're not quite used to this, and this is the interesting thing, and I know Bruce has said it before, the FPV community we're used to longer lasting stuff. It's not about like the DJI. We're used to Mavics having a new drone every 12 to 18 months, whereas the FPV side of things traditionally is much longer. And I do think they're struggling to grasp that a little bit.
I don't know if that's much longer, the FPV life cycle. It might be on the glasses, but not on the side of the drones, because let's face it, If you manage to fly an FPV drone for 6 months without crashing, that means you are not using it.
You're not flying hard enough. Yes.
Yeah.
So here's a company that doesn't blog about its new products because it doesn't have to. And its community, if you like, is massive.
Yeah,
Why-
but it's not the size. Yeah, but there's a lot you could argue isn't good about Apple as well. There's a lot of stuff people, and I'm a massive iOS fan. I've been iOS solid for over 10 years. Yet there's still a lot of stuff. Apple has done a very good job of building that fan base of almost you can't criticize them
Oh,
because they'll come after you. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, but people do, and they should point out the flaws with this kit. But they don't have to blog about new products. DJI
No,
should-
but at least they fix the
everyone else.
problem. But at least they actually fix the problems. You know, if
Well,
I
they
put out a
do
list of bugs that have been there for over 12 months. You know, okay, if we talk about the big one, the bug that was bricking goggles, the one we kicked off about the first time, that was bricking a product. There was no using it unless you went and spent another £800. And there was nothing. There was no communication. There was no talk. There was nothing until
There was nothing to stop you going and buying a drone.
Well,
That's marketing, mate.
it's, you know, I'm not expecting them to out and out do everything. However, if you're in a market, you've got to expect to either, if the system just worked, everyone would be happy. And it did until they made some tweaks which made it stop working. And you got to take into account the bugs they had, they created as well. Do you know what I mean? They introduced them with the V2 goggles. When the V2 launched, they were absolutely fine. It's only when they actually released it with the FPV drone and the FPV drone firmware was released for it, it then caused problems. So, look, they need to communicate a bit more than they have, or at least fix the problems.
That's going to be.
Sorry, Ian. As any of those flaws caused the rush of people returning their purchase and
Yes.
getting their money back?
Yes, the
Uh,
FPV
what?
goggles version one, people were buying them and couldn't use them. In fact, this is how bad that was.
How
Louis.
many? 10,
One
15,
company- well, you couldn't use
100,
them. Everyone who bought
5%,
them,
10%?
everyone who
Come
bought
on,
them could use them.
you gotta
Yeah,
give
but they don't give
a
figures of
number.
everyone who bought V2 goggles for a 1 month period couldn't activate them without owning the FPV drone. It was so bad, one dealer in the US stripped the drone apart and was posting out the main body to allow users to activate it. Did you ever see that? You should have seen that, Bruce, going around. It was one of the
No,
big
he
dealers
was-
because there was no fix. There
Yeah.
was no solution. So you bought a product and you couldn't activate it unless you then went and bought the £700 drone as well.
I think it's smart. I think it's very smart.
It's almost like Amazon, really.
Full life cycle purchase. Come on.
It's
If
a
you want
marketing thing.
to do goggles to what? I can get you some goggles.
So what goggles is it again that you need Facebook? You've got to have a Facebook account.
Oculus.
or the
Oculus.
Oculus.
Rift now. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, people are buying them to get support.
Yeah.
Better service from Facebook if you buy the goggles. But what I want to know about DJI is when someone brings out a better system, and it will happen, what
Yes.
will DJI do with this product?
It'll be binned. I can guarantee it. History repeats itself. Every product gets binned in 3 to 5 years. Just look at the initial.
Apple bin their own phones by giving you software updates that make them work
Let's slow
worse.
them down. Mm.
Yeah. Look,
Exactly.
I've said from day one with the FPV goggles, buy everything you need now to have it to last, because there's a point where you won't get air units. If you bought the racing edition, you can't get air units now. You know, the first FPV goggles doesn't exist. You know, they just
The
don't.
long
exist.
range. These are long range FPV goggles. These ones.
And I don't think I'm being
Long
unfair to
range,
DJI.
really.
I've been accused of being the biggest fanboy of DJI over the years, and now people are accusing me of the other way, which is quite funny because you can't win. And that's the funny thing I've learned in all of this is whichever side of the fence you're on at the time, someone's going to tell you you're being unfair. And that's the funny thing.
Yeah.
You can. Oh yeah. If you as you know, if you put anything on social media, doesn't matter what format or what it is, you got to have a thick skin because someone will disagree with you.
Yeah, it's There are certain stuff they deserve to be criticised for, and they have been. I think that's the safest words to use. But as I said, I have no intention of getting in the centre of another storm in the next couple of months. I've got work to do in here. I'm falling behind on stuff. So,
yeah, just back a thing. It's just, I'm not sure what this.
You
this
really
special
lost
thing
us, Ian. With all that fanboyism, you lost us. Come on.
yeah.
Well, you rattled cages and you got stuff done. So well done you. And I don't think that should stop you. If something needs to be done, I don't think you need to not post a video because you're worried some people will think you're nagging.
No,
many more people will think it's a handy service that they like to hear the truth.
And that is it. And funny, someone commented actually, and I'm going to leave it at this because this is talking about me rather than drones. But someone did comment if you look at the audience my channel's moved towards, it's become more like that. And okay, perhaps that's inevitable. If you look at Linus, if you look at all of the channels play to their strengths. But that's not why I do what I do. I don't do this for a living. I do it for me. So at the end of the day, what you've got to get back to is doing it just like this channel, Gary. I know you make huge amounts of money off the back of it. You know, we all know that.
Wheelbarrow out the back.
We get our checks every month, don't we?
Yeah. Have they all arrived? I hope they've arrived on time.
Yeah, it was rubber. It bounced through the letterbox.
I filled out all the flipping tax stuff.
I think it's Amazon gift cards and delivered by drone delivery.
No, we get chunks of coal. Gary mines it, just like Ian with his Ethereum.
Yeah, we've got enough of it here. All right, so we've spoken about the end. What else? What else have we seen this week, gentlemen? Louis briefly mentioned the DJI delivery drone thing. They don't seem to actually drone in a box. They don't seem to be rushing into that market. Now, what toys have you got there, Louis?
No, it's the patent that for the drone in a box. Let's look at.
They patent a lot of stuff.
It comes in a tendency that the industrial market has been having, which is to have resident drones at location and have them do something smart. And we saw that fancy box that I'm waiting for one from Skydio. And whenever
there's been quite a few, hasn't there? Not Massonet. Another lot did one. I can't remember the name.
Funny enough, I've seen drone in a box about a mile that way. At my local drone design place, they've got a system they've been working on.
There's one up in the Lesotho, which is drone on a picnic table, because that's all they do. They put it on the picnic table before they fly it. So they take it out of a box and put it on the picnic.
We were developing that kind of technology, the technology that would allow for precision landing, because you need precision landing for that.
I can't say that.
And then you need a good charging system that makes it work.
Yeah.
I can't.
There we are, Drone Hive. Yeah, Drone Port Hive is. Yeah, there's quite a few. Skydio has started shipping to Europe, I believe, Wolf. I stand corrected. No, it's not.
No.
You sure?
You had 50% chance of getting that right, Gary, and you got it wrong.
I did. I did wrong 50 exactly.
I'm actually looking forward to seeing the Skydio in real life.
I sort of am and not, because I'd be okay if I could buy one. I'd have to buy it and then risk my own money. I wouldn't want to borrow. I'd borrow one of theirs. I don't mind breaking that, but I wouldn't want to loan one off someone, because just flying that around is pointless, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Just flying it in a field is pointless. What you're going to want to do is go jogging through the woods, or have it do what it should do. Fantastic.
I can tell you that until now, it was very strong efforts to make it crash, and no success.
But then you made it crash.
No success on crashing it yet.
Yeah,
I have seen a few, which, to be completely fair, is not the drone's fault. people taking it through trees and bushes and it hitting small branches, and it says in the manual, it's still object avoidance sensing. You bring it through a woodland, the light level drops, it can't see a thin branch, it's going to hit it. Same as that bridge one, the blue bridge, where he hit the wire. Do you remember? He literally went straight for it. But I haven't seen too many where I thought, ooh, the drone did something silly, apart from the one that drowned itself. They put an update out.
We were trying to get it blindsided by the sun.
Yeah,
and we didn't get it to be blinded by the sun.
Nothing. It just still be. The only one I do remember, it was one of the YouTubers had it land in the water, and it got confused by the reflections, and it just kept going down, and it actually sunk itself. But they put an update out for that within like 2 weeks. It was like one of the first reviews of it, and it just went in the drink. But other than that, I think it's been fairly solid. I think their problem is their marketing encourages people to push the limits beyond what it's capable.
No, we were doing a comprehensive test plan to make it crash. God, I really have to come up with something to make it crash.
What's the image quality like, though, Louis? Because I've seen today, it was yesterday on one of the main commercial Facebook groups, someone saying the image quality is just not good enough for inspection. They've had it, they've tried it, and they've gone, I'm sorry, it's not good enough from an image quality point of view.
It's good for family snapshots.
Okay, so it's the same. Yeah. You're politically saying the same as he said. Then yes,
I'm not saying anything. Come on, it really depends on what is the purpose of the inspection.
Yeah,
if it is to see if you have all the tiles in the ceiling, it's good for that.
Zooming in on fit, this person was doing like railing inspections at height, and do you know what I mean? And then having to zoom in afterwards. Do you not think then, if they made a version that was 20% larger and had a 1-inch sensor with a global shutter, they would destroy the market?
Can I have that? Can I order it?
I'm a lonely voice shouting in the wilderness because I like big sensors. And I don't care about the megapixels.
No.
So I would like to have a phase one the size of a GoPro, 100 megapixel or 200 megapixels. That would be nice. But we know physics.
But we know the Phantom 4 Pro is a sweet spot. Yeah, is a very nice sweet spot. Everybody likes.
It's the best drone out of the box image quality on the lineup of DJI.
So that's all they've got to do in it. All they need to do is make that aircraft. It's going to have to be bigger. So it's going to be after, say, 10, 20% larger. Make that aircraft with those features, with that camera, and they literally could steal them.
And a better gimbal. Because the gimbals on the Pro V2 that just break left and right, but that's another issue.
Yeah, but that's the Scardio's X2D, isn't it? Whatever it's the blue SUS.
Yeah, but it's not 1 inch, is it? It's not. It's funny, isn't it? Why are these guys? Sorry, Mark. I was just going to say, no one's doing this, isn't it? You got Parrot. No one's making the drone everyone buys, isn't it?
So I've been flying the Mavic 2 Enterprise Edition, the new advanced one or whatever it is, the new one, and it's got that camera that does like the 48 megapixel lie, so it does its crafty image thingy. We've been doing, I'll just say we've been doing 3D modeling, Phantom 4 Pro versus that, and they are good, but please, can someone give us Phantom 4 Pro camera or the 1 inch, give us that 1 inch sensor. Stop piddling about with 48 pixel lie and give us the 1 incher, because to be honest, with the inspections that I've been doing, it's the 4 Pro's just bloody good.
You see it on every group. You see it on every commercial group. Everyone says the same. The only other company to produce that camera was Unique with a H. They were the only one to actually do it. Louis ripped his camera apart, look.
Yeah, he's been dismantling it. I find it incredible because the Advance, by the way, if you ever fly an Advance, they're chuffing weird. It's got a few quirks. It's got a few bugs. The Advance in flight, as you go vertical straight up, it does a yaw to the right. And every now and then in flight, it'll just stop and go, that's it, I'm not moving. And then you have to eventually wiggle it left and right, and it'll come out of whatever it's got locked at.
It's normal DJI, Mark. I said that's just normal.
My P4 Pro never does any of these bizarre things. Only that Advance. I don't know what it is about it. Really weird. But it's really nice to fly apart from those couple of bits. But again, the camera on it, because I know it's got thermal and everything, and the thermal's nice enough. But yeah, just give us, someone please give us that 1-inch sensor the 4 Pro has got on something else.
Is it because everyone's making smartphone sensors, and smartphone sensors are cheaper and there's more variety, and all the technologies, all the resources going into that, whereas the 1-inch low pixel count sensors, that's last year. We don't want anything to do with that.
Well, Sony make it, so it's out there. You're muted, Louis.
So you think Sony would actually cotton on to this, wouldn't you, and actually do it?
But there we are.
It's not. People are used. I was discussing yesterday with a friend of mine. He was saying the best praises of his Huawei whatever Pro X whatever camera phone. And he said, "Oh, these pictures are wonderful. Look." And I look at the pictures. Oh, that's lots of Disney colors. So that over processing of colors. And what I was trying to explain to him, it is impossible to do real life photography when the processing on the image is so high to make it look like people are used to. That goes completely against what industrial inspections need. We need the cleanest image possible. No blurriness, no nothing. We need it as raw as it comes, and that's
black and white for the win.
Yeah,
you've got to be. You just want that lovely, crisp, solid image. And the only thing that we found, so my Phantom 4 Pro and the Mavic 2 Advanced Enterprise, the end client didn't seem to mind which one was being used because it's hard enough to tell. You know what I mean? The end product, the end image, the 4 Pro can match quite happily, quality-wise, for what we were achieving. More than enough.
And that's one thing. For instance, if you go up as a notch on cameras that are usually being carried by drones, which is the A7s, when you go between A7R and an A7 non-R, the differences are mind-blowing. What you can get from those is fantastic.
That's certainly what's used down here all day long, just like that. All day long. It's a great camera. Just a bit pricey.
To Type 21 Wolf, yes, you can, but you'll have to fly very close to the object, so defeats the purpose of doing a safe inspection, because as it is such a wide lens, you need at least 100 millimeters equivalent lens to equivalent on 35 millimeters, and you don't do that with a GoPro or smaller sensors. It's a balancing act.
So bizarrely, this is a Sony. This is the A7. So this is the Sony A7 Sony Foxy. Bizarrely, this is stuck in aperture mode. And I cannot get this, when it's in the multi-rotor, to give me a crisp image. It's really weird.
I can give you a few tips about that.
Yes, please.
Offline.
Yeah, sure, Louis. Louis, if you could email me something, if you've got something that because my other Sony, the A6000, on a job crapped out on me. I don't know why. It got a power spike of some kind and it just stopped working. And the guy needs me to go back with the Believer, but at the minute I'm a camera down because this one's just not giving me a crisp image. I'm getting too much blur, motion blur. Even if I fly the aircraft down, I've been slowing the Believer down to about 16 meters a second, 16 ms. And it's just, it's just...
You know, the problem is the mechanical shutter versus the electronic shutter. So you get a delay between the first pixel that is captured and the last picture that is captured.
Yeah.
And at 16 meters per second of flight speed on a plane, it's so hard to make it work.
If you can up the shutter speed, but this is stuck.
Higher.
Well, funny enough, yeah. Funny enough, I'm cruising at 120 meters, basically.
Yes, of course, quite so.
You have to go slower. Sorry, you have to get more wings to fly slower.
Well, I think what's the Believer? 12 meters stall speed, 11 meters stall speed. I've not got a lot there to play.
Yeah, but that's the games you start playing, isn't it? Is exactly how high you should be flying the thing according to your sensor, and then once you find your sweet spot, you're away.
And this is the main thing about drones. Everyone thinks it's about the aircraft. It never is about the aircraft. We all know, hopefully by now, it's all about your payload and what you want to carry, or what you want to do with your drone that defines the drone you're going to actually have. Especially in the commercial world, what do you want to achieve? What do you want to carry?
What's your deliverable data? That's all it is. Aircraft doesn't matter a jot. None of that matters a jot. The flight stack, nothing. It's your deliverable data.
Come on. I have a 2 meters tall tripod. For me, the drone is just a taller tripod.
You're certainly going to know that you are delivering something that's useful. And maybe, if no one else is producing that Phantom 4 Pro, then as soon as somebody does, then DJI will finally roll out the Phantom 5. But until then, why bother?
No, but the thing is, and by the way, the Phantom 4 Pro's V2s are hard to come by at the moment. They're almost always out of stock. Their price is still high as hell. They're still fragile on takeoff. They still tip over on takeoff. So you really have to learn how to do hand-assisted launches.
I forgot how bad the Phantom was on that. I haven't flown a Phantom for about 2.5 years. And the first time I'd flown one for ages, they do have a habit of just going dunk for no good reason.
Am I the only one that doesn't have this problem?
No. Come on, guys. It's a matter of practice. If you go FPV style drone pilot like Mr. Simpson on the top, you just go crazy on the throttle and it's
fly in the air.
Yeah. So it is just a matter of practicing. It's not like an M600 or an M300, Ian, that you go slowly because it's $20,000 in the air. Slowly.
Last night I was flying the new Caddis camera in the dark, and I mean black. And yes, I'm legally entitled to do so because my PFC.
We know what you were doing.
And
Yes.
I'd made the mistake of it. It got far darker than I thought, and I was in the corner of a field, and I was coming in, and it got to the stage I couldn't see a thing. And I mean, I couldn't see me, I couldn't see nothing. And I thought, right, okay, I know I'm close because I can hear it. I can almost feel it. So I'm going to cut the motors. It landed about that much in front of me in my feet.
It's perfect.
I was standing there, and all I heard was dunk.
No walk to get it.
That's what you aim for.
That's why the regulators want you to have lights on the drone. So
now I do have it on video as well. It comes in and it drops, and you can just see me standing there. And it's like, and I sort of took the goggles up and goes, "Oh dear, that was close."
Top tip: put a little flash. get one of those headlamps, you know, those like spotlights, and put it on the very top of your head or on the ground. And you know to aim for that in future.
Yeah, you got a bit darker quicker than I thought.
Oh,
It does
the nights are closing in now. The nights are drawing in here.
Yeah, I've flown a lot of night stuff, and you really do have to look at the ambient lighting levels because those night flying cameras, no, they're not. They still need a certain amount of light.
I found it's okay in the air.
Yeah,
The
it's when you get
second
low.
you get within sort of 20 foot of the ground on a grassy field, it's just blackness. There's nothing else.
No
I put some
contrast.
LEDs, white LEDs, along the bottom of my drones for that because as you get closer to the ground starts to be illuminated, so you can judge your altitude and you can see and fly into things more readily.
It's just literally, I couldn't see my hand there, black. I just thought I'm going to cut it now, and it was just dunk, and that's when you sort of go, "Oh,
Come on, Ian.
How'd it go
Now,
again? How'd it go
next
again?
thing you're going to tell us is that you work for CIA on covert operations to work in such pitch black conditions. Come on, you really can work quite well with bad lighting conditions.
We're not going to burn those 5G towers down in daylight, are you? So you've got to get there and inspect them before you go and start torching.
Oh,
The great thing with 5G is you can do it BV loss.
You can, yes.
5G has that. Are you saying 5G has range?
Wow. Who knows?
All the way
Now,
to the scene of the crash.
Exactly. What else have we seen this week, gentlemen?
So, did you guys see on YouTube the flying ones? There was the two guys flying the big machines. Did you see that on YouTube?
The racing them. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's about 6 months old. That video keeps.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
And no. It keeps coming round. And, oh dear me! It all looks very tidy as well, doesn't it? Looks very
16
sorted.
It's like 4 large quadcopters. I gave it a quick look, and I went, it's 4 big. So it's like a quad with a pod in the middle. It's 4 big things. I was like, quite interesting. And you can see where they stacked all the batteries right next to the motors as well, just under them. And I thought, well, that's interesting because your current's not got far to go to get you to your motors and stuff. But it was yeah.
They're tidy, aren't they? And the way they were flying, it all looked tidy as well, unless it's another great CG scam. Did we see the chap that does that standing on the quads, and he was throwing a hoop, and the ball bounced back and went through one of the props, and off he went, not quite a hex, I think it is. Yeah, absolute Darwin Award style person. But it rather put to bed to me this idea that as long as we have many props, it'll be all right. They'll never break. It'll be, well, if one breaks, we'll still be able to keep flying. Kadoosh, as he went down. But
it really depends. If you ever have, if you have a motor failure or an ESC failure, it's not too bad if you lose the one. It's when you lose, when the one gets damaged, and if it doesn't stop spinning and the motor becomes unbalanced or whatever, and you get the vibration through the frame. That's your nightmare. That's what you don't want to happen.
Well, maybe the moral of the story is not to try and play basketball while standing on top of a hexacopter. Maybe. I don't know. Call me old-fashioned, call me a fool. Safety disclaimers apply.
Can I? No,
You can. You can. Yeah, very definitely. And so, no, what else have we seen? Has there been anything else?
What else did I see?
No, it's just been
the industry's maturing. There's not a list of great news.
Have we discussed that Bruce is retiring after that autonomous flight algorithm that beats the world-class racing pilot?
Yeah, but they weren't racing me, were they? No. One
exactly.
rule: knock your competitor out of the air first.
Yeah, that's been done loads of times, though, hasn't it?
Yeah, but you try on a new course first time, and I think the human pilot would win. Once you learn the course, it's fine, but if you're actually having to do it, learn on the fly, not so easy.
Yeah, that didn't. Wingtra have got a new version of their machine out. Not much has changed.
I like the Wingtra.
Yeah.
It's a
nice people as well. Met them, nice people. So yeah, it has things to going for it, and I was super impressed by how it flew in the wind on Lake Victoria. Super impressed.
It's daft how it lands in the high winds. I do find it quite bizarre. You know, it is a flying shark. It looks like a fly. The thing is, it's hard to explain to people, but it looks like a big shark flying through the sky. But when it comes back to land and it's doing its thing, and you watch those elevons do, because those elevons, they're 4 inches long, and they're doing all this. Yeah, that cube in there's working hard.
Yeah, they have a the very strange transition. I thought, but it works. It definitely works. And I saw one of, well, I didn't see it because it landed on an island miles away. Yeah.
If you can improve it, just do it. But if not, let it be.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. No. So they've got that. What else has happened? I'm gonna have to look at it. It's just news. I don't think much else has happened. There's been yet more delivery stories. It is, even though we started at the top end of this, having a pop at delivery stories and having a pop at Amazon. There is stuff going on. There are medicines being delivered. Swoop Aero's got a new machine as well. And it's the people that haven't been shouting the loudest that are getting on with it and having use cases for medical stuff in places where it does make a difference, and are learning all the time.
I mean, drone delivery, while we go, it's not going to work. It doesn't work in cities, but yeah, you're right. For these environments where time is of the essence and the distances are so vast, it does make sense. You know,
then you get that Volancy ship-to-ship drone delivery.
That's going to be a very interesting use case. And you're an old sea dog, aren't you, Louis? I mean, there must be things that are useful that within its weight range that can move. But if you're out there ship to ship and you're in the ocean, why not a bossing great big helicopter?
No, the thing like is, it makes sense, for instance, in certain locations, for instance, English Channel, where you go nearby shore, and it's dangerous to stop or make crazy maneuvers on the channel. So it is so expensive to go to a port to do some kind of crazy stuff. But the thing is, when you really need something, usually it is big and heavy. Because let's just say if you need a simple part for an engine, come on, hundreds of kilos. So
helicopter wins.
Not even then, because the risk of damaging the parts of the transportation it's huge. So it's a balancing act. What do you need? More I don't know, alcohol to rub the wounds. So it can be useful. Come on, we are not in the time of the century that we need to send signed physical paperwork to someone. Well, with some exceptions. But
teleportation is just around the corner.
So here's a question for you all then. So now with Amazon staying on delivery, so now Amazon's kind of gone, we're out of here, bye, kind of thing. Do we think the people that have been investing heavily in UTMs have just gone, oh shit?
Well, maybe, but did you see that guy? I've forgotten the name of the truck in America, where in the promotional video, all they did was take the handbrake off of something without an engine in it and rolled it down the hill. He's been done for fraud, and I think I think that very nicely sums up a lot of the AAM, UAM marketplace. Don't get me wrong, I'm a believer in electric aviation. I think some sub 20-seater aircraft will come along that will be converted, and it'll start happening, but it ain't going to be a flying car. It ain't going to be one of those things. It's just not. It's just
well, they're not feasible, are they?
I don't think so. I mean, I'll stand to be said to be wrong. They can prove me wrong. I'm down with that, but I don't know. Bruce would be a far better place than me to explain why they're not.
If it's illegal for me to fly my tiny 28-gram drone over my garden, how the hell can it be even remotely sensible to have a car flying over the same piece of ground, which I have no control over? And if it fell in there, it'd be the end of everybody. It makes no sense. No sense at all.
Oh, come on, Bruce. You cannot. Are you going to say that when someone riding their scooter has more rights than a guy driving a 28-wheel truck? Come on.
They're not doing that in my garden.
Yes, they can. Oh, yes, they can. You haven't seen it yet.
Louis, in the UK, pedestrians are going to get more rights than car drivers. You'll be able to step out and cross the road at a junction as a pedestrian. It's a joke. The amount of people who are going to get mowed up is going to be astounding.
No, don't worry. You guys, I don't know if we Europeans inherit that from you or you guys inherit that from us. The order of priorities is people, bicycles, and cars.
It's just, 1 ton of solid, 1 ton of aluminium / steel versus a human body. Think about it for a second. Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. I mean, I do feel for these UTMs that were probably banking on the likes of Amazon, and it's all just disappeared. These UAMs, the urban air mobility. Yeah,
I don't think. I really think that there is a possibility of a market for drone deliveries. I really think. At the current stage of technology, it's not there. The drones are inefficient machines. The cars are much efficient machines. But for that thing to work, we would need the automated roads, the automated cars. We need a lot of things to be in place for that to be practical.
But it's like perpetual motion. I mean, it's going to happen. We're 95% of the way there.
Yes. No, we are 90%. Come on, Bruce. I'm not optimistic like you. I just say 90%. And there's something that's missing too. It's the will of politicians to go ahead. And as they don't see what they could make of it, or they see that could take them income as in form of taxes, or they haven't thought about new taxes. So lots of cogwheels have to go to and fit together for something like drone deliveries to work, and it will be a mixed system.
Do you think?
Imagine the stupid thing. How efficient it is to ship a pair of reading glasses from Germany to be delivered in 24 hours. How many kilos of CO2 did I send out to the atmosphere to get $50 a pair of reading glasses?
You're just selfish, Louis. You're just selfish.
The good news is, Louis, a lot of other people ordered a lot of other stuff from Germany when you did that at the same time. So, you've spread that CO2 cost. Thankfully, it's been split amongst others as well.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
It's a complete current, and we are getting used to this more and more. And we got the things to this point, and when we complain, oh, the CO2 this and CO2 that, and Greta this and Greta that, and we are the guys that go Amazon. Buy now. Prime delivery. Yeah. It's here tomorrow. Come on, if I order something now from Amazon, it's going to be here tomorrow. How bad is this?
I don't like the way the world has got in the respect of we can't wait 3 to 5 days for something. I want it tomorrow. I've got to have it before midday. It has to arrive before midday.
They should replace that buy now button with buy soon.
Yes, by 5 minutes ago.
Oh, that'd be a great button, wouldn't it? Buy 5 minutes ago. Oh,
It's a delivery yesterday, Wolf, is the
Oh,
missing
God.
feature, yes.
Oh, Bruce, I'm glad you reminded me. I forgot to get myself some cleaning clothes for my glasses. Let me get some from Amazon Prime delivery now.
Well, we don't.
Get the ones made from coal. They're really good.
Yes, it's not a thing here, so people don't expect it. We don't have same day, same week, same month delivery, so it's not at all a worry. But it is. It
No,
is made.
That supplies just lie.
Do type 21
Good.
Wolf.
I
Yes, you do pay for delivery in 10 minutes. You have the Uber Eats and all the assorted services like Uber Eats that can go and pick up cigarettes. I can pick up my app of, it's not Uber Eats, it's Glovo or whatever it is, and I can buy a pack of cigarettes and I pay a charge for that and they deliver it in 10 minutes. So it's here. And we are to blame about this.
Definitely. We are definitely not talking on our normal topic. So if that is all the news,
And
because we can block off and then Ian won't notice we've gone.
No, we managed to get Ian blocked on YouTube after complaining so much about BGI.
Yeah, there we go. No, that's fantastic. All right, going once, going twice. 3 times a good one. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you very much for watching wherever you are in the world. Be safe, look after yourselves, and we'll see you again at 2100 GMT next week. Gentlemen, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you again. Thanks, boys. Look after yourselves, everyone. Bye for now.
Stay safe.